Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, how ultra-Orthodox Jews are forcefully rejecting the authority of Israel in Jerusalem. The Haredim, as they prefer to be called, they say ultra-Orthodox is insulting, make up around a third of the population of Jerusalem. Their ways and customs are often described as belonging to another century. Their attitudes, insular, inward-looking. Many say they are repressive, especially in view of the role of women. Jerusalem has recently been the scene of clashes over access to the Temple Mount and Al-Aqsa compound. That put Arabs against Israelis. But as you now see, there are confrontations. Haredim against Israeli, Jew against Jew, over the status of certain parts of the city. Yet another point of conflict in an increasingly volatile place. Our reports by Didier Gruel and Cyril Payam.
Violent protests in Jerusalem. Ultra-Orthodox activists have blocked the streets of this neighbourhood.
You are terrorists, heretics. You are a shame to our religion. You'll all burn in hell, you dogs.
Israeli country is the one country of the world, democratic countries, where they take people in the army like the communists. I don't want go what they want from me. I don't take them to be like me.
Ultra-religious Jewish people in Israel have been increasingly defying military conscription, protecting their holy day of Shabbat and standing up to increased secularism, which often brings them into conflict with the Israeli authorities. They are known as the Haredim, or the men who only fear God. These ultra-Orthodox Jews say they only respect one authority, that of the Creator. They say they are the sole spokesman for the Talmudic tradition. They've practiced social separatism since the 19th century, and their followers have been growing stronger year after year. In Jerusalem, as in many cities of the country, the ultra-Orthodox have their own areas, their own shops and their own schools. The study of religious texts starts at birth. It's a feast day at this girls' boarding school on the outskirts of Jerusalem. And a group of rich foreign donors is visiting.
First of all, we're saving the children, to make sure they have a safe place to stay. See, I'm carrying a gun because I need to be here to make sure that the children are safe. To stay in a place, a religious place, they will be religious. But it's not I take children, I make them religious, no. And this is the dormitory, okay? לא מצלמים ריקי פנים, הם לא עושים פנים, הם רק... לא, הם לא יראו פנים. לא מראים פנים.
The place that the Jews dreamed of is here, in Jerusalem. Some of the girls have come a long way to learn the truth, the true path. It's my home here. It's my real home. I will only leave in order to marry. We have classes here, but above all, we learn how to prepare for real life.
That's what I want. My only truth is the Torah. It's my decision. No one said to me, you're going to marry this man, you're going to do this and that.
We learn a different way of life here, a very religious one, that's for sure.
The ultra-Orthodox world is purposefully inward-looking and cut off from outsiders. Only those who have left its sphere of influence can explain how it works. TEILA is 26 years old and was part of the community in another life.
Inside me, I think I want to die, but I just get the cannabis and I suddenly have hope. It's connected with the fact I choose to get far of God, because He was someone who made me feel guilty all the time. So my children know right now that I live different life and I am not believing God anymore. The RABBI think it's very bad thing to go to the university because they teach kfira, not to believe in God. I don't know today. How could I believe these things?
The Haredim movement already accounts for around 30% of Jerusalem's population, and the gap between the ultra-Orthodox and modern society continues to grow. Even within the community, not everyone has the same beliefs. While some choose to live a relatively austere life, others sing joyful religious songs.
He's just happy. He's just getting high on the teachings of what he believes in.
That's the origin of the Nanach movement. This book is about understanding how to become God's best friend and to talk to him as if he were your best friend. That's what the Haredim do not want us to do. People are depressed, but Rabbi Nachman gave us the key to happiness 200 years ago. He said the clearest way was through music. For example, me, I've had a terrible life, I swear. I could make you cry if I told my story. But when I play guitar, I forget everything. There's love, there's joy. And that's what the Haredim have lost, that love of the world.
With their claims that they are the guardians of religious truth and the highest virtues, the Haredim community can sometimes be unforgiving with its own members.
It's like coming home in a way. I'm going to meet some people who are two mothers, two children.
TEILA is having her daily meeting at the Hillel headquarters. This NGO is very unpopular among the Haredim due to its work in giving shelter to those who've left the community.
I was in pain because of my family. Very, that time.
I remember that we talked about this.
I cried about it all the time. And I stopped when I gave my father a letter. But I go to his house and gave him a letter, and he pushed me out. He didn't want to see me.
The most difficult thing is that once they decide to leave the Haredi world, they are disowned by their family, by their friends. They are alone in the world. The kid comes home from visiting the father who is Haredi, and they might say, my father told me that because of you, my mother will all be burned in hell. Can you imagine? I think that they don't belong in the 21st century.
A former member of a Christian charitable organization is showing us the ultra-Orthodox Mea Shearim area in Jerusalem's north.
The project was just over there in this building where we lived for 3.5 years.
This social worker has been on humanitarian missions all over the world, but here it ended badly.
When they stormed the apartment, they threw actually everything out to the street here. We were about 1,500 people here. Everything was black. It's like a black sea here. We felt they would be able to kill us. What you can see here is the milestone. They did this day after to warn all Christians not to enter this area anymore. It was not our intention to make them Catholics or something, but it was our intention to show the love of God through our deeds. This was a provocation for them. And finally, they started this whole pogrom against us. You know, now it's quiet, but I know it can change in a second, and people could get very angry here. And they show it to you.
Far from Mea Shearim, in the middle of the West Bank, other religious people still dream of harmony, brotherhood, and reconciliation.
Some members of the Palestinian Authority asked me to write a note to prepare for Rabbi Nachman's visit. We're trying to bring peace, in fact. My rabbi's precepts say in particular there is something divine in each of us, and this divine thing can turn us into a saint. See, this is my work tool.
Almost every day of the year, this disciple of Rabbi Nachman travels over tens of kilometers to Jerusalem, where he sings for his living.
In Israeli society, the Haredim are not often liked because they live only for themselves. They do their own thing, they don't want to be in the army, they don't do very much in fact. It's different for us. After all, we're mainly artists. We want to make people happy, bring free music to everyone, and not try to become rich.
How are you? Everything going well?
Yes, I'm okay.
It's a tolerant movement. They are in agreement with Israeli society, and that's the main thing.
Sam Ben CHETRIT has been campaigning against religious extremism in Israel for years.
The ultra-Orthodox want to receive all the benefits from the state without giving anything back. They only listen to their rabbi. Their rabbi is like their doctor, their judge, their prime minister. He's the law. The majority of them do not even recognize the state of Israel. This is very disturbing. And they are now in the ruling government coalition, and the prime minister has to comply with most of their demands.
De répondre favorablement à leurs demandes.
After a few days of reflection, TEILA has agreed to return to Mea Shearim, the neighbourhood where she grew up.
But TEILA, you okay?
Huh?
You okay?
Close to me. They are in the other side of the street.
The Purim festival is one of the rare times of the year when the neighbourhood opens up to the outside world. Traditionally, residents here get drunk in celebration of the miraculous deliverance of the Jewish people from a massacre in Persia in 600 BC.
I'm now freed from God. I don't believe it all anymore. For me, all this is just an invention that gives a lot of power to those who know how to use it. I grew up here and my whole life was about this invention. This madness is far from me now. I don't want it anymore. I believe in myself and my future. I think about my children. I'm so sad for all those people who spend their whole lives here. Those who haven't had the chance to understand that there's nothing logical in all of this. It's very sad indeed.
It's hard to estimate the true proportion of ultra-Orthodox in Israeli society, but according to most projections, more than a third of the population will be from the community by the year 2050.
A report by Cyril Payan and Didier Gruel. You can see it again, of course, via our website, france24.com. Thank you for watching, and do stay with us.